Shutdown at Mach 1.
Mission accomplished.
Some planes just can't land.
43 days of turbulence. And tonight, the wheels finally touch down.
Shutdown Mach 1. In theaters now.
The 43-day nightmare might end in the next few hours. Democrats are breaking ranks, Republicans have the votes, and the president has his pen ready. After shutting down the government for 15 times to stop Trump's agenda, the Democrat wall just cracked wide open. So here's what's happening right now. You see, American families have suffered for 43 days because Democrats thought they could use the shutdown as a weapon. Troops without paychecks, travelers stranded at airports, federal workers wondering how to feed their families, small businesses destroyed, all because Democrats voted 15 times to keep America closed, while Republicans voted 15 times to reopen. But tonight something shifted. AOC is now attacking Schumer publicly. 8 Democrat senators are defecting, and the White House is preparing for an emergency signing. If the shutdown ends tonight, it proves Democrats can't hold their own coalition together when Americans are suffering. And if it doesn't, thousands more families are going to face financial ruin. And the stakes could not be higher, and every single minute counts. So as we wrap up 2025, it is time to reflect because we've learned uncertainty isn't temporary, it's permanent. Waiting for normal is not a plan. My friends at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves for over a decade by diversifying with gold and silver. Now, nobody knows what 2026 brings, but in an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital, it's physical, it's lasting, and yours. When you're with family this holiday season, remember, the best gift isn't under the tree, it's peace of mind. And that's what Noble Gold delivers, peace of mind 1 ounce at a time. So before year's end, take one smart step towards a safer future and visit nextnewsgold.com for your free wealth protection kit today. Nextnewsgold.com. Don't leave your future to chance. And if you want a shot at those 10-ounce silver holiday coins for stocking stuffers this year, call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347. Now, Treasury Secretary Bissett just exposed the real reason for the shutdown. You see, Democrats couldn't stop Trump in court, couldn't stop him with media attacks, they couldn't assassinate him, so they shut down the government as their last desperate move. But now their own members are revolting. Hakeem Jeffries is scrambling with last-minute amendments. CNN's Anderson Cooper is trying to spin the narrative, and Speaker Johnson just announced he believes the votes are there. The Democrat coalition is fracturing in real time, and we're watching it live. Let's listen to Speaker Johnson.
Good morning, everybody. Just wanted to come out and say that we believe the long national nightmare will be over tonight. It was completely and utterly foolish and pointless in the end, as we said all along. I just want to apologize to any Americans who are out there who still have flight cancellations or delays today. I want to apologize to the many American families who were made to go hungry over the last several weeks, our troops and other federal employees who are wondering where their next paycheck would come from. All of that's on the Democrats. Just never forget, they voted 15 times between the House and the Senate to close your government. And the Republicans tried every single day of the shutdown to open it, and we voted 15 times to do that. They have a lot to answer for, and I just want to say that we're very optimistic about the vote tally tonight. We think this is going to happen, and we're sorry that it took this long. So Republicans are going to deliver for the people. We're ready to get back to our legislative agenda. We have a very aggressive calendar for the remainder of this year. There'll be some long days and nights here, some long working weeks, but we will get this thing back on track. So thank y'all. Stay tuned for more tonight.
Stay tuned for more tonight. And of course, Democrats getting some more bad news, this time from the Gavin Newsom front. Gavin Newsom, this just in 4 hours ago, Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff just arrested by the FBI and charged with bank fraud, wire fraud, and conspiracy to defraud the United States, which include funneling campaign money for personal use. Here is the official press release from the Department of Justice. California political consultant, former public official, charged with conspiracy to commit fraud and obstruct justice, false statements, and tax crimes. Bad news for Gavin Newsom. Yeah, the Democrats just can't win. Political consultant Dana Williamson, 53, of Carmichael, was charged by a federal grand jury with conspiracy to commit bank and wire fraud, wire fraud, conspiracy to defraud the United States and obstruct justice, subscribing to false tax returns, and making false statements. U.S. Attorney Eric Grant announced the 23-count indictment was unsealed following Williamson's arrest this morning. This is a crucial step in an ongoing political corruption investigation that began more than 3 years ago, said U.S. Attorney Grant. As always, the U.S. Attorney's Office will continue to work tirelessly with our law enforcement. 3 years they've been investigating Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff. Take that, a little cherry on top, as we can certainly take this win with the government reopening. Here's the press secretary, our cameras earlier today, capturing Caroline Leavitt slamming the Democrats' shutdown, the longest in history.
Over the course, the Democrats dragged on the government shutdown for 43 days, the longest shutdown in U.S. history. But tonight, thanks to Republicans, the White House is very hopeful that this shutdown is going to come to an end. The damage caused by the Democrats with this reckless government shutdown cannot be forgotten. It is entirely the fault of the Democrat Party. Just look at the vote count. Hundreds of thousands of federal employees have missed their paychecks. Tens of billions in wages and benefits were withheld, impacting vulnerable families. Millions of low-income Americans missed their SNAP benefits. Nearly 20,000 flights at airports across the country were delayed due to staffing shortages, causing Americans to miss family events, vacations, and work obligations. According to Airlines for America, an estimated 5.2 million travelers have had their flights disrupted over the course of the Democrat shutdown. And our economy has lost billions and billions of dollars in economic activity over the course of this shutdown, hurting consumer sentiment and crushing the travel and hospitality industries. According to a CBO estimate, the Democrat shutdown could end up decreasing fourth quarter economic growth by 2 whole percentage points. The Democrat shutdown made it extraordinarily difficult for economists, investors, and policymakers at the Federal Reserve to receive critical government data. The Democrats may have permanently damaged the federal statistical system, with October CPI and jobs reports likely never being released. And all of that economic data released will be permanently impaired, leaving our policymakers at the Fed flying blind at a critical period. It's hard to recap all of this without asking a simple question: why? Why have the Democrats put the American people through this pain for 43 days in a row? And it feels like Groundhog Day being up here again talking about this Democrat shutdown. And the answer to that question is pure partisan politics. The Democrats dragged on the government shutdown for 43.
And now we have breaking news. The House has officially reopened the federal government, voting to approve a resolution that made it out of the Senate without bending to Schumer's demands. House voting. Just now, Congressman Byron Donalds, 1 minute ago, House GOP passed the Senate amendment, H.R. 5371, by a vote of 222 to 209 to reopen. It will now head to POTUS desk to be signed into law. For 43 days, Schumer leveraged his pain, and he failed.
Independent Senator and
the yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 15-minute vote.
And after nearly 43 days, Congress is poised to reopen the federal government. The Senate passed the government funding bill 60-40 on Monday. 1 independent senator and 7 Democrats broke with the party to support the bill. If passed by the House and signed by President Trump, the bill would fund the government through January 30th next year.
On this vote, the yeas are 222, the nays are 209. The bill is passed. The motion is adopted. The yeas and nays are
So
ordered.
it sounds like it's got to go back over to the House side. They have to do an emergency vote, and then it's going to go to President Trump's desk.
For the past 43 days, Democrats in Congress shut down the government of the United States in an attempt to extort American taxpayers for hundreds of billions of dollars for illegal aliens and people that came into our country illegally. From gangs, from prisons, from mental institutions. They wanted to pay them $1.5 trillion, which would have really hurt our healthcare businesses and our recipients at levels never seen before. Today, we're sending a clear message that we will never give in to extortion, because that's what it was. They tried to extort. The Democrats tried to extort our country. In just a moment, I'll sign a bill exactly like we asked Democrats to send us all along, many days ago, This cost the country $1.5 trillion, this little excursion that they took us on. Republicans never wanted a shutdown and voted 15 times for a clean continuation of funding. There's never been a time when one or the other party ever didn't sign a continuation. It's just a continuation, not a big deal. It's a continuation, and we'll talk later. Yet the extremists in the other party insisted on creating the longest government shutdown in American history, and they did it purely for political reasons. Over the past 7 weeks, the Democrats' shutdown has inflicted massive harm. They caused 20,000 flights to be canceled or delayed. They departed so many times, so late. People were hurt so badly. Nobody's ever seen anything like this one. This was a no-brainer. This was an easy extension. But they didn't want to do it the easy way. They had to do it the hard way. And they look very bad, the Democrats do. They deprived more than 1 million government workers from their paychecks and cut off food stamp benefits for millions and millions more Americans in need. They caused tens of thousands of federal contractors and small businesses to go unpaid. And the total effect of the damage their antics caused will take weeks and probably months to really calculate accurately, including the serious harm that they did to our economy and to people and to families. So I just want to tell the American people, you should not forget this. When we come up to midterms and other things, don't forget what they've done to our country. I also want to call for a termination to the filibuster so that this can never happen again. So with my signature, the federal government will now resume normal operations, and my administration and our partners in Congress will continue our work to lower the cost of living, restore public safety, grow our economy, and make America affordable again for all Americans. So with all of that, I just want to tell you the country has never been in better shape. We went through this short-term disaster with the Democrats because they thought it would be good politically. And it's an honor now to sign this incredible bill and get our country working again. Thank you very much.
And of course, throughout it all, the Democrats started the shutdown demanding taxpayer-funded health care for illegal aliens. Trump and the GOP said no to forcing Americans to pay. They kept the shutdown going for weeks to boost election turnout. The clean CR was available on day one. Here's the press secretary earlier today before the vote.
The Democrats, they started this shutdown with a ridiculous demand to force taxpayer-funded healthcare benefits to illegal aliens who broke into our country. Even after it was clear President Trump and Republicans would never force American taxpayers to pay for free health care for illegals. In fact, President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill fixed that problem. The Democrats kept dragging this reckless government shutdown on for weeks longer to boost their turnout in an election, perhaps one may guess. That's because the Democrats are totally captured by their far left-wing base, who only care about attacking President Trump, even if it means hurting innocent Americans in our country. The Democrats' weakness and their unwillingness to buck the fringe members of their party dragged this harmful shutdown on for 7 weeks and inflicted massive pain onto the American public. But let's be clear. The clean CR being voted on today in the House of Representatives that will lead to the reopening of the federal government is what President Trump and Republicans have supported from day one. Our troops, air traffic controllers, and federal employees will be back to receiving their regular paychecks. Families in need will get back to receiving their food purchasing assistance, and the people's government will soon be back open for business. President Trump looks forward to finally ending this devastating Democrat shutdown with his signature, and we hope that signing will take place later tonight.
It looks like it now will occur. A late-night emergency session to reopen the government. Federal workforce cuts continue successfully despite 6,000 positions reversed in deal, Trump's bureaucracy reduction continues. Administration eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse across government. Priority was reopening government for American workers. Mission accomplished. Let's go back to the press room.
Total.
First, on the government shutdown, the shutdown deal reverses the administration's RIPs, and it also prohibits more from happening until the end of January. I'm wondering if the president had input on this element of the deal, and if he's at all disappointed that's going to reverse the downsizing of federal government that they did during the shutdown.
I mean, look, I think it's about 6,000 workers total. When you look at that in comparison to the reduction in the federal workforce that this administration has done since January to get rid of the waste, the fraud, the abuse, and to reduce the size of our federal bureaucracy, we've done a lot of great work on that front, and we will continue to. But obviously, the president's main priority was to reopen the federal government and get people back to work, and that's what this deal accomplishes.
First, on the government shutdown.
Let's keep going here. This is all breaking. This is all developing in real time. Here's where AOC turned on Chuck Schumer.
This is about, I think it's important that we understand that this is not just about Senator Schumer, but that this is about the Democratic Party. Senator Schumer, there's no one vote that ended this shutdown. We are talking about a coordinated effort of 8 senators with the knowledge of Leader Schumer voting to break with the entire Democratic Party in exchange for nothing. I think it's important that we understand that this is not just about
House Speaker will be the House Speaker announcing the Democrat shutdown would officially end, and of course it has. This is all developing. Here's Secretary Bessent. We inherited this affordability mess.
Working on bringing. So when you look at affordability now and you go grocery shopping, for example, what products are you working on bringing down? We know that certain products are down, certain up. Like, for example, coffee. The president says, I'm going to lower the rates, tariff rates on Brazil and Vietnam and other places to try to bring the price of coffee down. What else are you doing?
Well, it's tough to do a lot of specific things, but I can tell you, Brian, you're going to see some substantial announcements over the next couple of days in terms of things we don't grow here in the United States. You know, coffee being one of them. Bananas, other fruits, things like that. So that will bring the prices down very quickly. And Brian,
President Trump not just reopening government, making America affordable again. Continuing, here is Anderson Cooper, totally on brand. The House lawmakers taking their first steps to reopen government. Americans brace for lingering pain from the shutdown as President Trump tries to say the pain's not real. I expect nothing less from Anderson Cooper.
Right now, a House committee is getting ready to take the first key vote on the bill to end the government shutdown. By this time tomorrow night, it could be on its way to the president's desk. Could be because a lot depends on enough House members returning from their districts by then to pass it. And that depends on whether they can catch a flight back to Washington, with airlines still trimming schedules and air traffic controllers who haven't been paid in weeks still in short supply. Even if those lawmakers can get flights, there's no guarantee that air travel will go back to normal right away or anytime soon.
Even if we see the government reopen this week, could we see delays for Thanksgiving travel?
So it depends on, are we going to have air traffic controllers come into work?
Well, that's the Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy today. Here's the president on Fox last night promising the air traffic controllers who did stay on the job through the shutdown money, which he admits he doesn't have.
I'm sending them a $10,000 bonus.
Where's that money coming from?
I don't know. I'll get it from someplace. I always get the money from someplace regardless. It doesn't matter.
Well, it may matter to the men and women with bills to pay and families to support who showed up to do very difficult and demanding jobs and got paid nothing for it for weeks. They've already been hurt by the shutdown, so have people who rely on food assistance. The president went so far as to ask the Supreme Court to let them go hungry. So
that's CNN for you. So much happening today. Big news. But now the shutdown is finally over. That's right. Breaking news just hit. It's official. The House just gave final passage to reopen the government. 222 to 209. The bill is literally racing to President Trump's desk right now. That's when it happens, when it hits the desk. No Obamacare credits snuck in because we held the line. And by the stroke of 47's pen, the Schumer shutdown ends tonight. Now, history was just made. All right? 222 to 209. Those numbers represent total Democrat defeat. They tried to sneak in Obamacare funding, blocked. They tried to break Trump by breaking America. They failed. 43 days of suffering, 15 votes to hurt American families, and for what? Complete humiliation. The Schumer shutdown, yes, Schumer's shutdown now dies tonight when President Trump signs America back to life. Every Democrat who voted to close our government just got exposed. So here is my question for you in the comments. Will you remember those who voted against reopening? Yes or no? Comment below, because when military families get their paychecks, when airports reopen, when America gets back to work, remember who fought to keep us closed and who fought to set us free. Victory tastes sweet. You can celebrate now at our merch shop. It's linked below.